Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to your March of the Penguins, our waddle through my Penguin Classic wall, book by book and author by author, and type of penguin by type of penguin. We have seen a whole bunch of different types in these months, we've seen epic poetry, trivial poetry, love poetry, works of history, of hagiography, weird items here and there, and every once in a great while. It hasn't really happened that much so far, but it will. From time to time, we are going to encounter a Penguin classic that is not a classic of literature. Penguin has used many taglines over the decades of their existence. The world's best books, for the well-read library, that sort of thing. Books worth reading, all kinds of things like that. And every once in a while, they make a Penguin classic out of something that is not a work of literature, and that was never meant to be. And that gives you nothing of the payoffs of a work of literature. No matter how generously you parse it, it just doesn't. It's like reading a book of receipts. There are a few Penguin classics that are like that, and we are going to the year AD 1215 today to get another one of those, and it's this. It's Magna Carta. The so-called Great Charter, no one at the time thought of it that way, that was wrested out of a weak King of England, King John, by his barons. Kind of a written concession of some of their rights and privileges. And at the time that this was done at Runnymede, this was not as big a deal as subsequent legal history has made it. It was not a major thing in the minds of the people who were involved, but it doesn't matter. It became a major thing. It is a major thing. It is now viewed as one of the first most prominent concessions towards, in England, constitutional monarchy, and in the West in general, the idea of moving away from the divine right of kings. There were very few, in his own era, there were very few people who suggested less the divine right of kings than John. But even so, for all its subsequent historical importance, Magna Carta itself is not a work of literature. It's a document of political aims. It's a legal document. It's not interesting to read, except in the context of its history. It won't grip you. It has no characters, nothing like that. And it's also fairly short, and yet the size of this thing. And I believe this is the greatest ratio of text to metatext that exists anywhere in Penguin Classics. The text of Magna Carta here, the actual text of the charter itself, is presented to us in facing page language, the Latin on one side, the English on the other, for a total of 15 pages. For a total of 15 pages out of 600. And all the rest of this is the scholar David Carpenter. He has an enormous introduction. He has an enormously detailed breakdown of every single part of Magna Carta. Part by part, person by person, goes into deep detail. The biographies of everyone involved, and the history of every single charter like this that had happened before it and just doesn't have its renown. And also massive amounts of endnotes. And the end result is a kind of Penguin classic that I think is fairly rare, and all the more outstanding for that. This is an amazing, amazing book of Magna Carta. This is the book to have that will give you the whole world of Magna Carta and everything that's in it, all in one Penguin classic. So we have seen before, in this March of the Penguins, some Penguin classics are just straight up translations with introductions of standalone literary works, that sort of thing. The Histories of Herodotus you'll have a translation of Herodotus, and you'll have an introduction, and you'll have some explanatory notes at the end. And that is a very straightforward kind of thing. Other Penguin classics are curations. They are made for schools, for inquiring readers. They are made to comment on their contents as well as to present them. And this is a weird combination of that, because at the heart of this enormous book is Magna Carta, the text of Magna Carta, which you can call up for free and which will take you all of 10 minutes to read. the curation comes in the massive amount of scholarship that goes along with this. Carpenter is a fantastic writer. He's a fantastic guide to the world of Magna Carta and its broader meanings. So, although it is in one level extremely weird for Penguin Classics to make a Penguin Classic of Magna Carta, it would be like them making a Penguin Classic of your rental agreement on your house. On the other hand, if the decision to marry that reprint of a legal document with this kind of scholarship is brilliant, just brilliant. So although I cannot recommend reading Magna Carta for pleasure, I'm not going to bother to read any of it to you. I can't recommend this volume strongly enough. No other. When Magna Carta had its anniversary a couple of years ago, the shelves of bookstores were flooded with studies of Magna Carta and also with biographies of King John, and critical volumes on Magna Carta. None of them came close to this. None of them did. This is the book to have for Magna Carta and also for King John. This John's life, his biography is not exactly edifying. It's one disastrous failure after another, one backstab after another, and that is written about in all the depth that you would ever need in this book. This really is a kind of one-stop shop for the world of Magna Carta, not just the text. So in that sense, this is a huge recommendation. It's a weird feeling because I'm recommending the volume, but I'm not recommending the work that it's built around. But that's the way it goes. So that is your Penguin Classic for today, the David Carpenter Magna Carta. What a volume! What an amazing volume. I feel certain that I wrote about this. If I did, I will again try to remember to leave a link down below, but it's not hard to find. If I forget to leave links, it's never hard to find. Just type, in fact, this is a good idea to do in any case with anything. Just go to Google and type in my first name, my last name, and the name of the work. And maybe in this case, the name of an editor or whatever. And Google will not lead you astray. You will find out that I have written at length about virtually everything. So that you can do that if I don't leave a link, but I'll try and find it and clean it up. So that is your Penguin Classic for today. We're bouncing backwards and forwards in time here. We're going, sometimes to the 800s, sometimes to the 1100s, and then here to 1215. But this isn't meant to be a syllabus. This is just a personal tour. So you can expect a little seasickness when it comes to that. So I'm going to wrap this up for now. Today was your Penguin Classic is Magna Carta. Won't take you any time at all to Google this and read it in English for free in 10 minutes. It won't take you any time at all to do that, and you should. It's kind of interesting in a way, but boy, oh boy, if you're interested in studying the significance of Magna Carta, the world and the people in it, the concepts, you can't do better than this volume. So I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow with another Penguin. Thank you.